Hello everyone, welcome to Ansarkari. In this video, we'll be continuing with the questions of ratio, and now we'll be dealing with another type of questions which involve not the direct ratio between two entities, but the relation between one entity and the sum of the other two entities. So we'll understand more by reading the question further. It says that rupees 5,625 is divided among A, B, and C in such a way that A receives half of the sum of B and C. Now they are saying find the amount received by A plus B if B receives half of A plus C. So the two pieces of information given to us are that A receives half of the sum of B and C, and B receives 1/4 of the sum of A and C. And another part, this is the value that is given here. So if I have to write the ratio of A ratio B plus C, since we know that A receives half of the sum of B and C, so this here will be equal to 2, 1:2. Since if B plus C get 2, then half will be 1, which will be received by A. Now they are saying that B receives 1/4 of A plus C. So we'll write B here and then we'll write here A plus C. This here will be equal to B receives 1/4. So this will be equal to 4 and this will be equal to 1. Which means that if A plus C are earning 4 units, then B will earn 1 unit since it is receiving 1/4 of A plus C as given in the question. Now the important part to understanding this particular question is whenever such type of questions are given, we need to understand one thing, that if there are three persons given, for example, A, B, and C, we are given that A, B, and C are here, and the amount of work, the quantity of work that all these three persons can do will be the same always, no matter what happens, right? The amount of work they can do, or perhaps their earning, that will also be same. So here, if we add the ratio of the amount that they are receiving, we get that here the sum is 3 and here the sum is 5, which are not equal. But as I just now explained here, that the work they will do or the amount that they will receive, it will always be the same no matter what happens or no matter where they go. It doesn't matter. Which is why it becomes important for us to make these two numbers equal so that we can compare, right? So that the question doesn't go wrong and it becomes easier. Now what we'll do is we'll have to multiply 3 by 5 to make it 15 and 5 we'll have to multiply by 3 to make it 15. And here it will become 15, pretty obvious. But in order to compare, we need to multiply these particular numbers by these numbers that are present here. So 1 multiplied by 5 and 2 multiplied by 5, and then we have 1 multiplied by 3 and 4 multiplied by 3. Hence, we will get that A ratio B plus C will be equal to 5:10 and B ratio A plus C will be equal to 3:12. And the sum will be 15, which will be equal, which we actually wanted and which should be the case in order to have a good and appropriate comparison. So to find the direct relation between these three or the direct ratio between these three entities, that is A, B, and C, the ratio of A to B we can directly identify. Here it is 5:3. So we can directly write here 5:3. Now we need to find out the ratio of C, which will be equal to, like total is 15, we know this thing. So the sum of all these three will be equal to 15 only, right? So we'll subtract 5 plus 3, 8 from 15 and hence we will get 7. So this will be the ratio of A to B to C, which will be 5:3:7. Now the question is saying find the amount received by A plus B. Okay, this is what we need to find out. I'll just mark here. Find the amount received by A plus B. And now the total value was given to us was 5,625. So in order to like compare, first we'll have to add you. So 15 units, since it is the total amount received in units, will be equal to 5,625. So 1 unit will be equal to 5,625 divided by 15. So in calculating, we can find out this will go by 1 and this will be 375. So the value of 1 unit will be equal to rupees 375. And then we need to multiply, like what they're asking is received by A plus B. So A plus B, we have here 5 plus 3, which will be equal to 8. So 8 units will be equal to 375 multiplied by 8, which will in turn give us rupees 3,000. So this will be the answer for this particular question. Now there can also be another way to solve this particular question, that is by variables. So here we'll create such equations. For example, we write that the direct ratio between A, B and C can be X ratio Y ratio Z. We have written this. Now one equation says that X plus Y, or perhaps we can just shift this particular part here. For example, we can take X plus Y to be, okay, we can just, so we can take the particular ratios. We can let that the ratio of A, B, and C can be X, Y, and Z respectively. I just change the variables according to the equations created. So X plus Y will be equal to 4 times Z. As we know that Z is B and it is written here that if we multiply Z by 4, then it will become equal to X plus Y. Or if we bring down this 4 here, we get 1 upon 4 only, right? So it's just the same thing and we have written it in this particular form. Then second equation that we can form is that Z plus Y, that is B plus C, as it happened in this case, will be equal to 2 times that of A which is X. Right, this becomes second equation. Now we know that here there are 3 variables. And if we have just 2 equations, that is this and this, we cannot solve the equations, right? We need 3 variables to solve 3, we need 3 equations to solve 3 variables and like at least 2 equations to solve 2 variables, the values of 2 variables we need to find out. So we'll have third equation also here if you look at the question carefully, which is that of the given value, that is X plus Y plus Z is equal to 5,625. And now what we can do is maybe we can we can substitute the values and then further we can find out the values of all the variables and hence we'll directly find out the answer to this particular question. So this was the second method. We just have to solve these variables, these equations by substitution method or by any method. And then we can find out since the value is also given here, right? And there are 3 such equations. So this was the second method and we received the same answer for this method also. So thank you. Now moving on to the next question. Rupees 3,000 is divided between A, B and C. A receives 1/3 as much as B and C together and B receives 2/3 as much as A and C together receive. Then the share of C, this is what the question is asking. Again, just the same question as we discussed before. And now we can just start making the ratios. A receives 1/3 as much as B and C together. So we can write here. See this method, the second method that I showed in the previous question, it might get lengthier. It needs a bit of speed to solving, but this particular method is the first method. This is a kind of a shortcut trick method that can help us to receive, like to reach the answers in a more quick manner. So A ratio B plus C will be equal to 1 ratio 3 since A receives 1/3 as much as B and C together. And the next information says that B receives 2/3 as much as A and C receive together. So 2/3 will be 2 ratio 3. Right, and if we add them, we get here 4 and here we get 5. Again, the same particular case that the sum, like sum of A, B and C, here it is equal to 4 and here the sum of A, B and C is equal to 5. So we need to make these two particular things equal now. So we will have to multiply. So we can multiply 4 by 5 and 5 by 4 and similarly by these particular numbers. So we have 4 and 4 here. And after multiplying, we get here A ratio B plus C gives us 5 ratio 15. Here B ratio A plus C gives us, we have to multiply by 4 there. So it will give us 8 and then 12. Again, the sum will be 20 only. Now if we write the ratios, A ratio B ratio C, A ratio will be equal to 5:8. You know that here. On adding these, we get 13 and total is equal to 20, right? Since we know it is equal to 20. So we'll just subtract 13 from 20 and we'll get 7 here. So C is equal to 7. Now this is the final ratio between these three particular things out. And now they're saying the share of C is, so they're directly asking. So we can just compare the value now. The share of C they are asking. So total is 20 units in this particular question, which will be equal to 3,000. So 1 unit will be equal to 320, then 2, then we'll have here 150. So it will be equal to rupees 151 unit, and they're asking the share of C. So C here has 7 units. So on multiplying 150 by 7, we get our 6 is 90, and then we'll have 105. So this will be the answer. So rupees 1050 is the answer to this particular question. And similarly, this question also we can proceed and we can try doing it by the variable method, like substitution method, but it might go wrong also in between that, and it is also lengthier. So we can stick to this particular method only. And this particular part, that how we are making it equal, it is very important to understand the reason. Since the work, as I mentioned in the previous video, since the work that A, B, and C do, work or the amount that they earn, it will always remain the same. Right. Just in the same question, you cannot expect that the efficiency of A, B, and C can change. It will remain the same, and which is the reason why we need to make the total sum of like the respective ratios, we need to make it equal. And then we can simply compare and put them in these particular forms to find out the final ratio. Thank you.